No pin chat. You can now pin a message. Give me no tissue. Let me take a sip of this water. Shoot, I might should have went and got me another bottle of water. Ew. I might should have went and got me another bottle of water, you guys. Cause other than that, I got champagne. Champagne ain't gonna do what water gonna do. Y'all see how I just deep throated that water? Champagne is like wine. Champagne tastes more like liquor than wine. Well, I guess my blanket is just gonna be up. I generally take it down. It's folded nice and neat. I generally take it down and get it out of the way, but it is what it is. It's up there now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 you guys. Hold up, you guys. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up, hold up. It's all right, my bad. I almost pulled my eyelash off. A friend of mine asked me to send the link so that he could come over and follow me. Come over and subscribe and check me out. Welcome, 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 you guys. It is Sylvie414, and I is Sylvie, your rough edge lady. Just coming to bring you some of that little 414, that balance, that one in the middle, that balance. You know, you see things. I got a little off track, y'all. I'm sorry. I ain't even gonna go no further. I was putting on my jewelry, and then my peoples just came by right quick, and it got all me off track. And I don't know if I'm sitting on my other bracelet. I was getting ready to put my bracelets on, but I'm just like, it is what it is. I got my earrings on, I got my necklace on. But yes, that 414, that one in the middle for that little bit of balance. And you're just gonna see me a little bit of nightclub costume jewelry. I don't gotta have on real jewelry. All I gotta do is be cute. All I gotta do is be cute and not have it break me out. That's all. And give me no nickel, and I am good. But you know, we're not always gonna see things in the same way, but we are able to come to an understanding. And that's one part they don't want to understand, like Willie D. Willie D don't like to understand, y'all. We gonna talk about it. But if we try to just have some effective communication, just listen to the other side. Just show some compassion for the other side. You don't gotta agree with what the other side is doing. You don't have to agree to understand. You have to condone for there to be a problem. If you don't agree with with what someone is doing, if your beliefs fall differently to someone else's beliefs, that's okay. Because you speak with them and you communicate with them and you get an understanding of them as they get an understanding of you, does not mean that you condone what they're doing. There may be things in your life that they don't condone. You feel me? That part. There may be things in your life that they don't condone. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Willie D. We're going to talk about Ringo TV. We're going to talk about Roda, how it all began. Katt out there capping. Is Katt out there capping, y'all? Is Katt out there capping? Let me tell y'all something. I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We is at like 255 subscribers. My Willie D live. Y'all came in. Y'all showed support. Y'all came in. Y'all commented. I took the comments that was in favor of what I was saying. I took the comments that wasn't in favor of what I was saying, and I will do you one better. I went and defended myself on a comment. Went back and re-defended myself, I think. And then went back because the God got to me and let me know that that subscriber had a point, or whether it was a subscriber or not, that commenter had a point. So you better look at it, because I done already told you about what this person was talking about. So I'm like, okay then, God, okay then, God. That subscriber was like, that person that commented was like, I done listened to you for 10 minutes. For what? For nothing? My flesh, even though God has us being spiritual beings, sometimes our flesh gets offended when we feel like we need to defend the Most High. And that's what I began to do. What you're going to find is that I'm not going to negate the Most High on this page. And the Most High came to me and was like, baby, you don't have to negate me on this page. You remember what them night and day guys talked to you about? How they do with they peoples? How they get they peoples in there to hear the real stuff that they be out here trying to bringing forth, that they be out here bringing forth. You got to want the people to come in. Somebody said, Ringo said, if you're in a restaurant, you got to serve different things on your menu. So basically, that person that was commenting was saying, you talking a lot, but I ain't hearing nothing that interests me in the beginning. And so the God spoke with me and told me to switch up the way that I handle business. I don't know how it's going to go because I've never done it this way before. But I'm about to do it this way. We gonna talk. And since we ended with Willie D, well, I'm gonna tell y'all a few things. A few things from let's see. Okay, so first, we Queen Amadaya, Monique, they be out here. Let's make this very clear. Because a lot of people like to do something does not mean that it's the right thing to do. Rewind. Because a lot of people like to do a thing does not mean that it's the right thing to do. Just because everybody out here right quick stealing jokes and stealing raps and stealing shows and stealing don't mean that stealing is right. And if you do the God, if you do that Bible, it tell you, do not steal. So if you rationalize the stealing, or if you rationalize why somebody else could steal, Mr. or Mrs. the God, it don't make you right either. Thou shalt not steal. When you steal people's jokes, it makes me feel like you have no creativity. When you steal people's anything, when you steal people's ideas. I have YouTubers out here that I follow, that I subscribe to, that are saying that there are bigger YouTubers stealing their ideas and not giving credit. And y'all know when y'all come over here, I'm going to shout them out. I just shouted out Night and Day, guys. Y'all know I stay shouting out Willie D, even so that I had a whole live video. Look, talking about Willie D. Let me finish that statement because she learned how to finish a statement too. Don't mean I don't love Willie D. I love my brothers dearly. That don't mean that I'm going to condone any wrong they do or condone when they might be stepping out of line. And that was stepping out of line in my viewpoint. And that's why we're going to talk about them a little more, because it's a pattern. Willie D, you got patterns. I love you. You going to tell me you love me back, Willie D? Because they say that y'all be watching the little guys sometimes. They say that y'all be watching the little guys. I know that the Night and Day guys from their smaller network, their news channel. They had a news channel. They follow my page. from that page, because I was like, okay, Night and Day done follow me. They follow me from their smallest page. So it's highly likely that somebody there out there watching you. So I'm watching you. I subscribe to you. I said it before and I'll say it again. I said it on Marsha Warfield's page. She is from Night Court 911, Marsha Warfield. Google her if you don't know. But we was at during the same time I was checking out that Willie D and talking about it. Me and Marsha Warfield was going to bat about some words on her page. And I'm just like, if I follow y'all, welcome, 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 you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm like, if I follow y'all, if I subscribe to y'all, if I take the time out of my day to come in this junk and watch a live video, why I can't voice my opinion? Y'all, please voice y'all opinion on me. Y'all, please check me if I need to be checked. Please and thank you. Y'all, please don't be running around these parts with delusions of grandeur. Let's keep this real city. Reality world. Real world. No, that one's used. Look. Listen, Linda. Listen, Linda. Like, I'm watching, I be reading comments. I went on, this is what I'm talking about. Because I went on and I watched the why Willie D and Scarface was beefing. You know, this old news, y'all. But once I started tracking Willie D, because just like I said, the Katt Williams is the second. The Roda Bache, the Roda Osman, that's the first. That's why her name is in the title. Because this is running from law. And Willie D was capping for her. And called young men to death. I was posting, and probably while I'm posting this one, while I'm cutting this one up, I'm gonna finish cutting up the one from 4 months ago. I dropped some of those. Willie D was calling them dudes to death and not doing any research. And I don't know if that's because he keeps saying that I am not a journalist. You are not a journalist, but you are a YouTube content creator, a YouTube influencer. I say influencer because they was all up in them Scarface comments capping for Willie D. Even though there was no reason to cap, not from what I saw. All of that sounded like a whole bunch of butt hurtness too, just like daggone Katt Williams' response. It sounded like butt hurtness because the Grammys called on your boy. They called on your boy to come and perform. They didn't call on Ghetto Boys. To hear Scarface tell it, they did not call on the Ghetto Boys. They called on Scarface, but once Scarface got there, they wanted him to sing My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. Now, what I heard in them streets is that Willie D didn't get asked because he didn't like Bushwick Bill. I found that a little odd. That was back when it was happening. I heard that was one of the reasons that he didn't get asked to perform, because he and Bushwick Bill didn't get along. So I don't know. But all that I know is he was mad at Scarface. He felt like Scarface was supposed to tell them no because they didn't ask him. Okay, I was on Queen and Monique though in the stealing of these jokes. We gonna get back to Willie. So Monique said that the white chicks, and I remember this joke. Monique said that the white chicks stole her joke. They stole that your mama's so old that she be blowing powdered milk or something like that. She be, and then they blow and the powder just come out their hand. Now Monique did that when she first hit the scene, buddy, on a show called Yo Mama, because Queen ain't even say what the show was called, but I knew what it was called because I remember that episode. Her and Tracy Morgan on Yo Mama, she did that joke. And then you saw that joke again on White Chicks. Stealing jokes, validating it, because there ain't no creativity there. That's all I'm going to ever say. You can't make me wonder why you a comedian and you got to steal a joke. It made me think you just ain't funny by your lonesome, but you catch on to somebody that is and try to get they shine, get their glory. and all that good stuff like that. So the only reason that I wanted to talk about this is because after she talked about, I ain't even going into depth about the story. After she talked about it, oh, I should have put that in my title, but don't you worry your pretty little heads off about it. It's going to be in the short when I do it. She said, your mama looks like Wildin' Out. And when I looked at it, I was like, yo, the setup, the whole schematic of how it was done, like on some old Wildin' Out. And your mama was here first. Is Nick out there stealing show ideas? All of them at the top got something in common. Because we're going to talk about Sid and Steve and Kevin and Katt. Because I watched a behavioral analyst, you know, a body language specialist. And he did the body language and the behavioral analyzations of Katt's interview and of the responses of the three names that I just called. We're going to talk about it. So, Demond Wilson, Lamont Sanford. Demond Wilson, Lamont Sanford. You know Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son. But into who? He was on Comedy Hype. Y'all go check out Comedy Hype. Lamont was on Comedy Hype, and he was talking about the industry and why he left the industry. I remember years ago he left the industry and he went into ministry full time. He'd been doing ministry all over the world. He said that on Comedy Hype. He said that young man didn't do a good interview. Can y'all go do y'all research? Lord, help me do my research if I'm supposed to be interviewing some peoples. Help me do the proper research. Make sure that I make my interviewees feel respected, feel loved, feel engaged. You know what I'm saying? Feel like they in a place where they can feel comfortable, you know? Let it be that way. Let it be that way. But he was saying, you ain't do your research, is what he told the young man. But he made a statement about Kevin Samuels. He says he believes that Kevin Samuels was deleted because although we may say what we want to say about Kevin Samuels and how we feel like he spoke harshly. A soft answer turns away wrath, yes, but God, look, God told me I better take it however it comes. That this the soft, hard, if it's the truth, if it's going to help, God said take it. So there are those people out there, period. So for those women, those would be the ones that stepped up their game and learned from something that Kevin Samuels said. All I ever said was he didn't call those women, they called him. Those women had a delusion of grandeur, grandiose ideas, thought processes about themselves because they began to make more money. And that's not the way any of that works. And he continually told those women, the men that you are after, and people got upset with him because evidently the men that follow his platform was the men that they was after, because they was calling into his platform and he say, the men that y'all is after ain't thinking about y'all money. They thinking about you being this way, that way, and the other way. And Demond Wilson was saying he feels like he was deleted because they want women to keep out here like now look, I'm gonna say this like Tasha K. I'm talking about everybody brand. That's why I'm gonna call the names that I know. I don't know the real names. I don't know these young ladies, but I know the image that they are portraying. The Sexy Red, the Sukiana. I know the image that they are portraying. That is the image of a lot of these women that were going on Kevin Samuels, or if it wasn't that type of image, it was an image of your nose being in the air because you done been making so much more money. See, I brings it from I'm not just gonna hit Suki and them. And the only reason that I hit them is because as I stated, it's a brand. And what I'm hearing, what I'm learning about these young ladies, is their personal life is not their brand. That's all I keep hearing out here. These young ladies like Cardi B. Cardi B was a married woman telling you how good it was to be single. Beyonce too. All my single ladies. All my single ladies. I mean, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. But she's talking to single ladies. Beyonce might not have been the best. But Cardi and the rest of them, let me do Sexy Red. But Beyonce do got one. I forgot because she was called out. Because I don't really, well, Beyonce I do know. But the Sexy Red and the Sukihana and these young ladies out here wilding out like that in the music business, they are telling you to be a way that they are not, is what I'm finding out. They not wilding out in their personal lives. This is now Sukihana, I don't know. She be on the day after next pill, the next day pill, whatever. Day tomorrow pill, whatever. I did see that video. But I'm saying that to say that this is a page about modesty, and modesty is not about what you act, what you wear, so much as how you act. So much as how you act. And he believes that Kevin Samuels was deleted because society would want for women to just act any old kind of way that they want. We're going to talk about that. Whatever you want to do, you just do. And then there was Umar, who said a similar thing about black women in the church. And while this is not a page that is just solely and strictly for black women, we talk to all women. So sometimes when I got to talk to the sisters, because I don't know, y'all, I got to go get my real glasses, a screw put in them, and these ones be so crooked that I just always be trying to straighten them out. But said they want you to stay single. That way you can stay in there, giving all of your time to the pastor, all of your money to the pastor, all of your worship to the pastor. I do know that there are sometimes that the women be worshiping the pastor. They be worshiping them. Yeah. So I just wanted to say those things to say that I believe that there is concern about both of those things. Because these are not the first times that I'm hearing those things. And I know that this page is about that. But I never want to come at the necks of Sukihana or Sexy Red or any of these young ladies. Theirs are just the most popular names. Any of these young ladies, because why? Because we had Little Kim. We had daggone Foxy Brown. That's all we had. Nicki Minaj was more my daughters. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B was more my daughters. But we had Lil Kim and Foxy Brown. But one thing for sure and two things for certain. Before them, you would have probably said it was Salt and Pepper, but they were not like that. Salt and Pepper, they came out with a sexy edge when hip hop for females was MC Lyte, Queen Latifah, you know, everything, all things power to the people-ish. And then you had Salt and Pepper who came out who softened it. You know, they came out and they softened it. They had on they had on cat suits and they leather jackets and they was dancing. Salt and Pepper's here. Salt and Pepper's here. Salt and Pepper's here, and we in the fact. Want you to push it, hey, coolin' by night, then by day, working up a swag. Come on, girl, let's go show the guys that we know how to become number one in the hot party show. Now push it, push it, push it good, push it real good. I don't own the rights to that music, Salt and Pepper and them do. I'm probably gonna have to go get me a bottle of water, y'all. My water's almost gone. It's like this is bottle number 4. Yeah, this is bottle number 4. I'm looking around because I throw my water bottles on the floor until the end of the night. That way I know how many are drunk. I'm really gonna have to go get a bottle of water because for some reason I'm just really thirsty. I don't know. I have not drunk it. I just literally opened this bottle when I started going live. And yeah. So please forgive me. I might have to step away for a minute. Step away. All right, all right. So next, we is gonna talk about those PEATOEs. Them PEATOEs. There was, okay, so I woke up this morning and I had gone on Facebook to look into my memories because I be looking at my memories to see what be going on. And the first thing that I had seen when I looked at my memories was William and Zachary Zulak. And I had already said, y'all heard earlier when I said finish the statement because I'm working on that. When I go back and cut up my videos, I see a lot where I start statements that I don't finish. Sometimes I come back to it, sometimes I don't. So when I put William and Zachary Zulak and Willie D, I put Willie D, hashtag Willie D. I didn't know what it was all about, so I went and Googled William and Zachary Zulak, and that's when I found out what it was. So there was a story that Willie D carried, that Willie D spoke about last year, that was about two LGBTQ activists. They adopted two special needs children. I think the children were 7 and 10. They adopted the children, and they began to prostitute the children and sexually assault the children and all of that good stuff like that. They assaulted them, and then they invited their PEATOEs clients over to allow them to assault them. And when I tell you, this house, when I went in today, this was January of last year, a memory from January today of last year. So after I Googled it, I said, okay, well, let me see if there's any updates. So the latest part of the story, and that could have happened last year as well, but it was way in December. Well, it did happen last year. And I'm thinking, yeah, in December, they seized their home. So they went in and seized their home. So as they're going in, they got the cameras going in because they had a real estate sale. A real estate sale. And this is what the young man. I don't know if this was Zachary or William. I know that Zachary was the camera dude. He was the one that was taping most of the time. He said, "Why do you want to do an interview? Why do you want to know this?" He said, "It's better that people not know what happened here. It's a god-awful thing." So for you to be saying that it's a god-awful thing, that means that you're fully aware that what you're doing is wrong. And when you're fully aware that what you're doing is wrong, my hopes and thought processes is that you're convicted to the fullest extent of the law. And they will be tried separately, and they are thinking about spousal privilege because they're going to be tried separately. Says that this is an uncomfortable thing for people. Said that's the reason why. He said it's normal. No, excuse me. He said it happens more than you know. He said it's an uncomfortable thing for people, and that's the reason why it's not big in the media. These are our babies, y'all. And the babies went back into foster care. And I just cringed at that. I just cringed that they went back into foster care. And y'all, look, this is coming from a person reading. I'm still reading Good Morning Monster. And knowing what some of these people had to go through. And the one that they said, the one the book said went through the worst, made the greatest change. And attributed everything that happened to being able to be the person that he was. That's a big thing because a lot of people can't get through that stuff because you're not supposed to be 7 and 10 and having to worry about closing your eyes and what's going to happen if you close your eyes, or not even if you don't close your eyes. You're supposed to feel safe in your home. You're supposed to feel safe if somebody adopts you and brings you into their home because they're the adult and you're the child. You're not supposed to be having to worry. You got all these, you got everything you want in this place. They had everything, all kinds. Somebody said they let some people see inside the house, and the person was like, there's everything a child would ever want in here. It was everything. So these babies on the one side of their brain are like, oh, we got everything. We got adopted. We got everything we ever wanted. And then on the other side of their brain, it's just, stop it, getting more fucked up, because you're getting. That is supposed to be a pleasurable thing for both parties. I don't care if you're adults. I don't care if you're adults. Now, if you're two consenting adults and you're an adult consenting to not be pleasured, that's on you. But as a child, you don't consent to anything. That's why I have a problem with children being able to transition. There, I said it. Children should not be able to transition because children can't do nothing else that adults can do. They can't drink no alcohol. If they can make that much of an adult decision, they should be able to do everything else. They should be able to go fight on them front lines. They should be able to go buy a pack of cigarettes. That is one of the most adult decisions to be made. I think it takes counseling and deep mental thought before you make a life-changing decision like that. So with that being said, if I don't believe that they can make the decision to transition themselves, what would ever make anybody believe that I would be in agreement ever with anybody who feels like they need to put their hands on a child in a way that is meant to be two adults should be under rocks, big ones. Big ones, like under them, like the ground still firm under them and they be under the rock. It's my thought process. You shouldn't be touching children. So he said it's just sick. He said it's just sick. Well, if you know it's just sick, maybe you should think about going to sit in a chair. If you know it's sick, you should think about going to sit down and see what type of help you can do so that you can step away from these sick things. Because God brought me Criminal Minds, y'all, to try to have some compassion for an unsub. Not to condone. Remember I said the one in the middle don't mean that you condone. It means that you try to find some understanding. I will never agree. I will never agree. We have no choice but to agree to disagree, because I'm always going to disagree with that. Always. But if you're saying that it was sick, and if you acknowledge all of that, sir, go sit down and get some help. You should do that. It says people just don't talk about it. He said it's a very look here. Look at here. Epstein Island. Epstein Island is a real thing with real people on a real list that I put out only because, look, I was doing it just that was about 3 years ago maybe, when that thing came across my timeline, had all their names on it and everything like that. Oh, let me share this because I don't agree with the babies being touched. And guess what? It is a real thing. And let me take it to the hip-hop world. And let me take it to the world of hustling. Because the hip-hop world, and I can only speak for the black community right here. The hip-hop world and the world of hustling, it go hand in hand. I know we used to go, it was a park called H.V. Brown. H.V. Brown Park used to be jumping on the weekends. All the ballers was at H.V. Brown Park. In all of their ballerificness. And they was at the young girls. They was at the young girls. Them girls might have been 16. I had a boyfriend already. I was just out there with my peoples. Me and my ex-husband were together throughout high school. So, and I ain't saying that both of us was perfect. Now one of us weren't perfect. But we were together throughout high school. So I won't just out there I won't imperfect like that, but I did my dirt. I'll say that. But it was always, there was a man that was too old. I could say I made the choice, except I wasn't old enough to make a choice like that. I don't care what y'all want to say about a fast little girl. Didn't we just finish talking about the 7 and the 10-year-old? Once something like that happens to you, We're going to talk about something that ain't that harsh. We're going to talk about being fatherless and see what it can do to you. Abraham and Ishmael. Ishmael had a whole problem with his daddy giving him up. That don't got nothing to do with sexualness. That's your daddy. You're supposed to be able to live with your daddy, but your stepmama don't like you. Your stepmama wanted your daddy to go in there and make your mama his wife. But then I think your daddy was loving up on that wife too much, and your stepmama didn't like it, and so she tried to treat your mama bad. And then once she laughed at God when God told us you were gonna have a baby, then she said, I ain't laugh at you, God. And God was like, I know everything and I see everything and I'm everywhere, Sarah. Like, why are you saying this? Like, you just gonna lie in my face like that? So once she did that, and then she really knew that God gave her a baby and stuff like that, and the baby done came out and got him circumcised, weaning the baby and everything, getting him prepared to be on to take the reins. You know what I'm saying? To step into his destiny. Then you say that Ishmael was mocking. So get rid of them, she told Abraham. Get that bond woman out of here and her child. They gotta go. Now that you got one, now that you see that God do every time what God says it's going to do. Every time. God don't change up. If God got a blessing with your name on it, then it's your blessing with your name on it. Yes, that part. In God's perfect timing, because God's time is perfect time. God does not do a clock. Every time God shows up, it is right on time. You best believe it. I didn't own the rights to that music. You best believe it. It's right on time. So, why did they sell the baby's underwear? What was the purpose in selling the underwear and the used bed sheets? That sounded just as creepy as the events to me. It sounds just as creepy as the events that you went in and had an estate sale and you sold the children's underwear and their used bed sheets. Their used bed sheets makes me feel like you sold them to somebody that wants to sit around and smell them. Was that too much? I apologize. Let me take a sip of this champagne. Truth don't need no motivation. This cup stays about full every time I be on. I'm not really a drinker. That was carbonated. That might be my thing. We're getting like carbonated wine and stuff like that, because once it starts to get flat, it's like a flat soda. Like, it's not the same. And because it's wine, I wind up drinking it because I don't be wanting to waste it. But yes, I thought that was very, very weird. And even more weird that all of the kids, this is what it said on the article, all of the couple's LGBT-themed belongings previously removed and out of sight. And that made me feel like there was some creepy stuff in there that y'all ain't want nobody to see. Y'all want to be selling the baby's undies and then selling the baby's used bed sheets and getting rid of all of the stuff that could have incriminated you even more deeply. So the arrest was made in January of 2022. Again, I stated, I believe that Willie D covered this story in January of last year based on when I saw the memory today. And then the update that I just gave you guys was from December of 2023. All right. So let's go on and talk about this Willie D. Before we talk about Willie D, I'm going to read these scriptures real quick. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Genesis 21:23. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed. 1 Maccabees 17:28. The land also was moved, for the inhabitants thereof and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. Quran 3:159. O messenger of Allah, It is a great mercy of God that you are gentle and kind towards them. For had you been harsh and hard-hearted, they would all have broken away from you. Now, Willie D. When Willie D covered Roda Bashea, I just want to talk about some things because people find it, I guess, offensive if you call somebody to the mat. And that should not be so. If I love you, I want to see everything good for you. And I follow Willie D because y'all have always heard me say, I feel like Willie D and Ringo are the two most balanced men that I watch on YouTube. Willie D is changing that thought process for me. As I stated, prior to in between, I would say no, because even when that Roda Osmond stuff was going on 4 months ago, I wasn't really watching Willie D anymore, like talking about it, because I was getting a feeling of it's time to back up. So when that Roda Bashea came out, and I say Roda Bashea because that's how I got it 4 months ago. It's Roda Osmond, but when you go into YouTube and type in Roda Bashea, it's still gonna come up. So I heard people calling her the Brick Lady and Roda Bashea. Ringo said he is the creator of the Brick Lady. I'm telling y'all what Ringo said. Ringo said it was him that created the term Brick Lady, and it just blew up. But Willie D did not do his due diligence in going to do any research to see what was going on. And I started being comfortable with not covering things immediately because I would see that Willie D would hold off for a little while before he dropped something. So he was saying that he can get all of the research in that he needed by that time. I remember watching a video where he said that. But he did not do that with Roda Bashea. He just immediately started scolding uncivilized mutts. And on my video, I couldn't think of uncivilized mutts, but he has said it so much since then that it is etched in my brain. When he called the people, he put that in his title for the people that responded to him about Katt Williams. Willie D responds to the uncivilized mutts who came at him about the Katt Williams interview. They tell me that the skin got to be a little tough out here. And sometimes somebody can look like they got tough skin. Everything ain't always what it seems because it does not appear to me that Willie D has tough skin. Does not appear to me that all of the self-accolades, we're going to talk about that with Katt. Because I was saying it before I went in and watched the behavioral special analyst. Talking about how Willie D accolades himself when Queen Ahmadiyya said it on her show. All I had said when she said it was he likes to accolade himself. I have listened to him on videos accolade himself. Talk about all that he's done and all the music he's made and this, that, and the other. And I just be like, I don't know Willie D for his music. I don't know him for none of his music. Like when I say I just recently was aware of which was his verse on My Mind's Playing Tricks on You. My spiritual mother says that's why she believes that Willie D is butthurt because he's not known like that for the Ghetto Boys. Now let me take it to him and Scarface. I said, let me just check because they don't do Ghetto Boys Reloaded no more. Let me make sure I'm telling y'all good stuff. Willie D said that they have both performed My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me separate before. This is what makes me believe the accolades mean everything. The Grammys was a humongous platform. So it's okay if we perform it separately on littler platforms. But when it comes to something that big, if they said that they wasn't calling Willie D, then you were supposed to say that you wasn't doing it. And because you said that you was doing it, you was sabotaging the brand. Because you wasn't supposed to do it without Willie D. What y'all say about that? Because I don't agree. I don't agree that Scarface was supposed to turn down that opportunity because Willie D didn't get asked, and we don't know why Willie D didn't get asked. And it looks like if there's truth to what Scarface is saying, which it did not seem like he was lying. I ain't really checked for his body language. I be trying to check for body language a little bit too. But if there's truth to what Scarface was saying, it sounds like the Grammys may have maybe had an inkling that if they had told him that it was for Ghetto Boys, he may have turned it down. So they called for Scarface. Scarface said once he got to the practice for the Grammys is when he found out that they wanted him to do My Mind's Playing Tricks on You. So Willie D wanted him at that time, once he got to the Grammys, Willie D wanted him to turn around and walk out the door because they didn't invite me. Said that's what I would have did. See, we live in a world where people think that we have to do what they would have done. We don't. Nobody has to live life like you because they aren't you. Nobody has to do the things that you do because they aren't you. We don't have to do you. We have to do us. We are individuals with individual creativity. That's why all this stealing and slacking and lacking and all that stuff like that, because you don't want to find your creativity. I listened to Ringo when I wasn't even supposed to be, because I know he was talking to the mans, but one thing for sure and two things for certain. What I'm supposed to get. Because he said he was ending the podcast probably for like 45 minutes, and I was going to leave out, but I didn't. And he started talking about some things that I can do to make myself better. He does not believe that there is any such thing as shadow banning on YouTube. And I have heard larger podcasters speak about being shadow banned a lot. Sip champagne. What he said made sense. So I started here. We're trying to make sure, because I went back on that comment. After I double defended myself, I went back on that comment and told that person that commented that they listened to 10 minutes without me talking about nothing, that I would do better. And that's why I switched it up. And that's why I just read my scripture in the middle, because the night and day guy said, pull them in. Pull them in, then tell them what you out here for. Catch their interest, because this is about y'all. This is about y'all being interested, but it is also a place of learning and a place of education. And a place where I come to uplift humanity. I'm not so worried about growing numbers as I am about growing people. God knows that. God knows that. So if I had to bring God to the middle, God okay with that, because God knows that I'm a God up in this piece. You feel me? You feel me? So Willie D says, Willie D said a motherfucker can't say Ghetto Boys without loving Willie D. And to that I say, can you say Bushwick Bill? He probably could have said Ghetto Boys without loving Willie D, because you dang sure said anybody that say Ghetto Boys can say Ghetto Boys without loving Willie D, because I'm pretty sure Bushwick Bill said Ghetto Boys without loving Willie D, as Willie D said Ghetto Boys without loving Bushwick Bill. That to me was another strike at your self-accolade. Can't no motherfucker say Ghetto Boys without loving Willie D. They can, and they did, because you said you and Bushwick Bill, they couldn't stand each other. You said y'all hated each other. You did not go to the funeral because y'all hated each other. So he definitely said Ghetto Boys a lot and did not love Willie D. So you was wrong there, sir. It sounded like a bunch of butt-hurtedness. And I just don't want you to be butt-hurted all over the place. That's all. Look, he said Scarface put an album out every time that Ghetto Boys dropped the album. He said, you put an album out immediately after Ghetto Boys dropped the album. Scarface was like, no, I ain't do that, no, I ain't do that. He said that a couple of times. Then he said, Willie, he said, if I did do it, I put it on Rap A Lot. I remember Rap A Lot Records. And when I went in, that's them dudes over there in Texas that they supposed to be the gangsters, and you supposed to check in with them and all that stuff like that. I don't be knowing these people, but when I heard that name, when I went and Googled it, I was like, okay, I think that's them. So he said if I did it, I dropped it on Rap A Lot Records, which meant it was on a different label. So he getting money over here for Scarface, and he getting money over here for Ghetto Boys. Why would he want to sabotage his own shit? Who does that? And people do self-sabotage, don't get me wrong, but not well-balanced people out there trying to get the bag. They not trying to sabotage their bag. When folks trying to get the bag, they is trying to get the bag and oils of it. Willie? Scarface was trying to get the bag. Now let me tell you what, because I listened to them words this time, what Scarface said back. Scarface said, Willie, where it said? He said, Willie, I would never try to sabotage your shit. To me, that meant that Scarface knows that his brother is a big baby. And he knows that Willie D likes to... Look, I said to Boo today, my spiritual mother, so it sounds like he was jealous of Scarface and couldn't stand Bushwick Bill. He was monkey in the middle. Monkey in the middle. Because I went... Because Boo was like, Bushwick Bill made a lot of movies, see that? So I went and I Googled. Bushwick Bill did. Bushwick Bill made movies and Scarface made a solo and Willie D didn't do any of that. He made music. None of it. I don't like it. I have the right to be able to like whatever music I like, and I can like you as a podcaster and don't like your music, and believe you me, I can, I will, and I do. My right. I would not sabotage your shit. The Ghetto Boys was all of this. So the fact that he said yo shit to Willie D made me feel like he knew that Willie D was heated because he didn't get that opportunity. And kept saying, I know it wasn't your fault. I know it was the Grammys. Well, if you know it wasn't his fault, sir, then why do you keep telling him what he should have or shouldn't have done? Why didn't you carry that smoke over there to the Grammys? You wanted to monetize that smoke and bring the beef over here on the Ghetto Boys Reloaded. And I don't know that him and Scarface did a podcast after that one. I don't know. Face said, if anything, Willie, you the sabotager. He called Willie D the one that is sabotage. He said, and he's not feeling any kind of ways about having done that. He said it was for the brand. He said, and I feel like I represented the brand wonderfully. He said, so what we gonna do is what I said earlier. We gonna agree to disagree. And you can look on Willie D's face and see the heat. The same way Ringo was saying why he didn't show his face a lot when he was coming back off that Roda talking about, oh, y'all got me. He said, y'all got me. Well, if we got you, where's the apology, Willie? Where's the apology? Excuse me, she got me. That's what he said. She got me, Roda Bachet. Go Roda Bachet. Look, Ringo TV is covering the young man that is supposed to be the one that hit her with the brick and everything. First and foremost, it wasn't a brick. They're saying it was a water bottle. Not that you couldn't get somebody with a water bottle really good. This looks like, I'm never in agreement with any man. I don't care the pronouns. I am talking bi-freaking-ology. I'm never in agreement with any man getting in a woman's face. Let me tell you about Sylvie, because Sylvie don't play that mess with women. Welcome, 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 you guys. Sylvie don't play that mess with women. If she hit you and you lay her ass out, she might have got what she deserved. But you going up in her face, I don't care if you're a heterosexual man or an LGBT man. When you go in that woman's face, you become a punk. Period. Period. If you walk in her face for the smoke. I said all of that to say that she walked in this young man's face for the smoke. And he gave it to her. He gave it to her. They got in an argument. It's saying that he wound up hitting her with the water bottle, but Ringo believes that this was all a setup. He believes that they are in it together. He believes that they were out there trying to make that money together. She did this back in 2020. She set up a GoFundMe back in 2020, having said that she was assaulted. She said, help a single Muslim mother take care of her babies because I've been assaulted. So a woman can make herself look really, really in a place where people like Willie D don't want to do the research. Because I just started doing the research and see that she was out there. She was like, every woman should be kissing a woman. I don't have to kiss a woman if I don't want to. Like, she was like, before there was feminism, there was lesbianism. I didn't even understand where any of that was coming from. I guess that was a clip of just, I don't know what it was a clip of. But she was just out there in them streets just doing shit. Anyway, like she was. Now, some are saying that she had the mask on in the club. Some are saying that she was already injured. Some are saying they believe it's an allergic reaction. But the cops are saying that the picture that they saw was a plastic bottle. It was not a rock. But as content creators, it is our job to keep up the fresh content, to keep the viewers coming in. Right now, I'm working on consistency and finding my niche. But I'm working. I'm not just sitting out this joker, just sitting back, just trying to think. You know, some things I do hit. I thank y'all, because ain't nobody unsubscribing. Every now and then I get a influx, and then a couple of people are unsubscribed. But y'all is sticking by Sylvie, buddy. Y'all is sticking by Sylvie. And one thing for sure, and two things for certain, she appreciates it. You feel me? She appreciates it. Let's see where I was. Hold up, y'all. I'm trying to make sure I ain't miss nothing. Oh, okay. So where this started with Ringo and Willie D was at the Roda Osmond, because Ringo also did not like the way that Willie D was handling it. And at that time, Ringo let you know in that video, I like Willie D. I like Willie D. He was like, I watch his content. He was like, but he's dropping the ball on this Roda Osmond stuff. He's not doing his due diligence, which again he did with that Katt Williams interview, because he did not release it immediately, and then he released it under the guise that it was a new video. And I say under the guise because that's the way it came across to anybody that watched it. Like I said, Boo ain't had nothing to do with nothing. Boo ain't on YouTube or nothing like that. It was full content creators, including myself. I told y'all I didn't go in and watch the video from gate. I didn't even know it was going to make no smoke. I didn't watch the video from gate from the way it was looking. It wasn't drawing me in. I didn't know that it was a video. I didn't know that it wasn't a new video, but it didn't present as one. And then it just looked drab. It wasn't, a lot of Willie D stuff looked drab, and at this point, it feels commercial. It looks drab and it feels commercial, so it really don't pull me in. All of the content creators that I watch, they have something about them that is pulling me in. I think Willie D are just resting on accolades and the fact that he is Willie D. And he got 900,000 followers, subscribers. So he just sitting there thinking he good as he can be. Because, look, I got something in here about that too. Let's talk about it right quick. A good name. I follow Willie D because I believe Willie D had a good name. A good name is a notion of a good reputation. It is not of good reputation or good character to mislead the people. That's what that title did. It is not of good reputation or good character to think more of yourself than you should. That's in excess self-esteem, which is just the flip side of the coin of low self-esteem. There's no balance in either of those things. It's a lot of narcissism in it. There's no balance in it. It implies honor and reputation, while being nameless signifies obscurity. Nameless. I said he was jealous. It seems like he was jealous of Scarface and hated Bushwick Bill. He was in the middle, monkey in the middle, nameless. The middle child. Don't y'all be hearing them stories about the middle child? Even though with Brand it was different, because he was the prodigal son. Vaughn was the prodigal son. That was a different kind of middle child thing going on. But yeah, obscurity, ignominy, which is disgrace. Obscurity means you're unknown, and discredit. You ain't getting no credit. That's why he accolades himself. I had a friend, a whole friend, who said he talked about himself like in that way because nobody ever did it when he was coming up. So he started, and I have mentioned the word narcissism to him before. I have. That's a place of sore ego, of broken and fragile ego. You didn't hear affirmative, reinforcing behavior or words when you were coming up, and so you had to give them all to yourself, nameless. I said a good life has few days, but a good name lasts forever. That was powerful to me in and of itself. It said before loving favor, before silver and gold, grace. Grace is far better than money. Silver and gold represents money. Grace will take you places, buddy, that money will never, ever take you. Grace is the manner and demeanor which wins love. Terry, my dear church member, my church family, my loved one, who we just funeralized on Saturday, who my bus driver said, whoever was being funeralized there was loved. Grace, the manner and demeanor which wins love. She was full of grace. So very kind-hearted. Always loving on people. Always helping people. Always uplifting people. Always encouraging people. Always teaching people. Always. Even in her pain, before God took her, she went hard in the friggin' paint. The grace, the manner and demand which win love. A good name is so valuable because it wins affections and friendships, which are far more preferable to material riches. A good friend. Oh my God, that's my mini-me 3000 talking about she be forgetting to take her pills, talking about I wish they would make medicine taking like birth control pills because I be forgetting to take them. So I go through the whole thing about, do you got your little cases that you put it in? Yeah. Well, I be forgetting. Sit them in front of you. I do that. I don't be remembering if I took it or not. I didn't understand it for a minute, but then I figured out she got multiple of the same medicine in there. Just put one in there per week. One of the one that if you got to do it per day, if you got to fill it every day, fill it every day. But if you're supposed to be taking your medicine, put the one in there. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that you know that you didn't take it because it'll still be in there. Only that one. You don't have to confuse your brain. I know sometimes brains can get confused. Baby, I know it. Nothing more closely connected with virtue and happiness than reputation. Wrongness of having too little concern. Didn't I just say you're not supposed to have too little concern about your reputation, but you're not supposed to think more of yourself than you should either. And that's what I get from Willie. That you think more of yourself and you want everybody else to think just as much of you as you think of yourself. And we don't have to. Some of us do, but we don't have to. You the only one that gotta think of yourself that way. So wrongness of having too little concern about your rep. Some don't care what a silly or malicious world think or say. You don't care what nobody think or say. You just gonna do what you want to do, because when generally Now, you're not supposed to be a people pleaser. You're not supposed to be a people pleaser, but you're not supposed to just be walking around just like I'm going to do what I want to do because I want to do it, anything I want to do. That's that city without walls. And if you're going to be that person, cool. It's cool if you're going to be that person, but get what you expect to get. Anything. Anything can come when you ain't got no walls. That's all that is saying. So it's impossible to avoid censure. It's impossible to avoid censure. They're going to talk about me anyway, so I might as well do it. Not if your character says don't. Not if there's something in you that is plucking you and say, don't do that, but you do it because I don't care what they think. I'm just going to go and do it. But there's some little small place that's saying don't. That's your rationale. But you listening to the people. Because you think the people is going to censor you regardless, so I might as well do it. I can't avoid it, so I might as well do. If you can't beat them, join them. That's almost what that is. It says, innocent and prudent people do undesirable things, but rarely continue under them. That be your conscience. When you have a conscience and you out there wilding out a little bit, because sometimes we wild out. When it say innocent and prudent people, it means people that you don't see out in them streets wilding out on a regular basis. You know you got, because everybody got sin. And as much as I just talked, and it don't have to be wilding out to be undesirable. As much grace as I just talked about with Terry, because I know that we all sin and fall short of the glory. I know she did something that won't pleasing to God, but it won't often. And she checked her behavior, period. Can't tell me no different. Can't tell me no different. That part. Let's see. You're supposed to take constant care to your reputation. Said a good name cannot be secured by a bad person. How you gonna have a good name and you is full of doing bad things? You out there ready to do bad. You is caught block and ready to do bad. How you gonna have a good name? They don't coincide. They opposite ends of the coin. Don't care what they think. You don't care what you normally will do. If you don't care what they think, it's normally associated with you not caring what they'll do. Okay. To break down the difference. I have a fear. I have had a fear. I used to have a fear of singing in front of people because I did care what they thought. That was still not a good thing because God does not want you to care so much about what people think that you don't want to do the right thing or the purposed thing. So in a sense, it's the same, really, because you still, you saying that you don't care about this little malicious old world and stuff like that. You just out here wilding out. Either way, it's the opposite end. It says that once you lose that character, it is very near impossible to gain it. Once you forfeit your good character, it's very near impossible to regain it. And then there's the wrongness of showing over regard for yourself. And we're going to talk about Katt. We're about to talk about Katt. This going to kind of segue into it. Just you just want a fair appearance. A fair appearance, if you think about the Bible, when the Bible speaks about someone with a fair appearance, it said David had a fair appearance. It says Sarah had a fair appearance. It meant that they were beautiful outwardly. Because once we get down to Sarah, that was, it used words like conniving. It used words like conniving for Sarah. And all I've been saying, I ain't studied it not once until such a time as this. But always, every time I have gone back, because I have been in this Torah, these first 5 books for 5 or 6 or 7 years. Every time I go back, I'm like, Sarah won't no joke. Sarah, Rebecca, and Rachel, they won't no joke. They was interferers. And now that I'm studying it, I see that I'm right. They were interferers. God didn't need their help, and they felt like God did. So you just want to just satisfied and content with a fair appearance. Says many think if they are guilty of nothing which the world thinks enormous, they are quite as good as they need be. Willie D. You don't feel like you're guilty of nothing that the world thinks enormous. You feel like you're doing your just due on your podcast because you come up here and you collect all these videos that you was planning on releasing this year, which is probably what you're doing. But this stuff that you're releasing right now, Willie D, look, when Ringo said that you was on some Vlad, Katt called you Vlad. Ringo pulled into it with your new way your name come on, all that electricity and stuff like that. But then I go to the people that you now interviewing, and I'm just like, yeah, it's really coming off a little Vladish. It's coming off a little Vladish. I don't want to hear the people saying, oh, such and such is getting the case, and they went on Willie D show, because that, you know, that's what's happening on Vlad. Come on, Willie D, power to the people, power to the people. You supposed to be out here on a journey of integrity and raising up the esteem of the people, Willie D. Doing your balance shows you're not being really balanced right now, so you're not being really balanced. You are supposed to know when to raise or preserve that character. When to raise or preserve it. You're supposed to know if you're not feeling good enough about yourself. You're supposed to know if somebody is threatening it and you need to get in your safe space. It's yours. It's all about self. It's always going to be all about self over here at Sylvie's. Thank you. Says, said it, what? Call that a worst case. So I don't know if that was above when to raise it or preserve it, or allowing yourself to be led by the foolish instead of using your good sense, or being led by more discreet and experienced friends. Now, one of those two, it says is a worst case. I didn't go up or down with it, but one of those two, either when you need to know when to raise or preserve. I'm thinking it's this one below it though, allowing yourself to be led by fools instead of being led by reason, or being led by someone who is walking in true wisdom. Someone who is being discreet, or someone who has more experience than you. That's the way we grow. Said people pleasing to have you foolishing to cover foolishness. That's how I broke that down. It will have you foolishing to cover foolishness. So you out there doing foolish things. Now you got to get a little more foolish and a little more foolish to cover yourself. Like liars, you know when they be saying that liars be out there telling lies, and it's so hard to be a liar because you have to keep covering your lies. You got to keep making up more lies and more lies and more lies. More money, more money, more money. Y'all, I just be in my own head sometimes. Shout out to In Living Color. I think that was In Living Color. Let's see. Crushing a rep to build your own. Oh my goodness. Nothing burns my britches more than seeing somebody try to put somebody down. Oh, you ugly. Oh, you got a big nose. Oh, you is black as tar. Oh, you is trailer trash. You trying to put somebody down to raise yourself up, and you still go back to your house and feel like an old bucket of sludge. Because that will never work. That is not how any of that works. Trying to crush somebody to build yourself up is simply no bueno. That's all. Period. Now, injustice to demands of the world, more regard than we have a right. Yeah, that's Willie D. That's Willie D and Roda Osmond. She felt like I could just go out here and tell the world that I've been assaulted and tell these people I need some money. You was thinking a whole lot of yourself. You were only thinking of yourself. You raised 40 G's on Cash App on a lie. Willie D is getting millions and millions of views on a misleading title. And it's what he wanted. He wants us to talk about it. That's how you get the when you're searching for fame. Did it talk about fame here? I think it did. When you're searching for fame, you're gonna go out and do any old thing for the fame. When you're trying to get that bag for the love of money, people will steal from their mother for the love of money. People will rob their own brother. People don't let money change you. Almighty dollar. Do things, bad things, baby. For the love of money. For the love of money. It's inanimate, y'all. It can't do a thing without being in your hand. Stop thinking so much of yourself that can't nobody tell you nothing. It is not, absolutely, positively nothing wrong with confidence. We are all supposed to be confident, but we are all supposed to be able to be talked to, checked if need be. You're not ever, as long as you're walking this earth, going to be as good as you need to be. You should be striving every day to be better. That's all. And if you're not, then you're stuck. And you're thinking more of yourself than you should be. No bueno. Says, these ones are frequently driven to unfair and even criminal methods of getting their claim allowed. Was that not unfair? The misleading title was unfair, and Roda she's getting ready to go to jail. She's getting ready to go to jail. Theft by deception. It's criminal and a lie. Thought too much of yourself. Lossa. Not upon the earth a more ensnaring temptation than that of being too fond of self-complacency. Self-complacency. That's where I believe Willie D is. He is complacent. Ringo TV brought his analytics. He is not getting the likes and the views that a page of his stature should get. He's complacent. He's not a journalist is all he gonna say. But you are a content creator. What are you doing to be better? You think just because you're getting these interviews that everybody already had. Keith Murray's done been everywhere. Damn Dame Dash done been everywhere. Like you're not trying to change up your spin or nothing, Willie? You're not trying to do nothing new? Self-complacency. Elements of great and good are not great wealth. They are not splendid genius. They are not self-advertisement. But they may have something to do with modesty, tenacity of purpose, a mighty reserved power. That mighty reserved power sound like that when I was talking about that Muslim woman, when we was talking about the Proverbs 31 woman, and you know I told y'all that virtuous means nothing. There's nothing womanly attached to the definition of virtuous. It's all man. It's all man. Like the only thing that says about a woman is woman. You can go look it up in Strong's. You can go look it up in etymology on etymonline.com. It's all man characteristics until it simply and solely says woman. So whatever woman means, everything else about us is supposed to be a man, and then we're supposed to be woman. I think that's when we're supposed to be soft. So we're supposed to be able to balance out y'all character. Y'all don't even want to balance out your own character, because one thing for sure and two things for certain, we are all dual beings. Which means that we all have feminine. I just discussed with my peoples today that that verse does not say that the homosexual will not inherit the kingdom of God. It says the effeminate in the King James Version. And I explained to my baby that effeminate men can be, and effeminate, because it says that you can walk too much in your femininity too as a woman, which means you could be too effeminate. An effeminate man can also be a straight man. Hence the word simp. But I said all of that to say that that Muslim woman, they talked about her being attacked by the Taliban. And she exuded all of her virtuous powers from the inside. That mighty reserve power. Morality. It said morality and religion, but since I know that the God does not like religion, I so kindly changed that to relationship with the Most High God, because one thing for sure and two things for certain, I can leave the bones. Or night and day told me to keep the bones, so I kept that bone and just switched it up. God don't like religion. God allows it. But we don't talk about relationship with the Most High God, because it's different. Because a lot of people be walking around in all of that religiosity, and religiosity just makes my skin crawl. It makes it rise up and all of that good stuff. I have been a religiosity person, and I can go in here and put levels on it. You know, back where I said, if it's nothing that the world demands, is the injustice. What did I put? Injustice to demand of the world, more regard. Oh no, that's not even. You thinking that you ain't did nothing bad, or you good as you can be, because the world, you ain't did nothing the world thinks is big. I just said it earlier. So there. That says that grace is preferred rather than a multitude of riches. And I know a lot of people, we look at people when they have all this money, and we say we want this and we say we want that, and people still probably saying they want to go to Hollywood. If you is out here on these YouTube streets, if you is out here on these YouTube streets, these ones that I be frequenting, still saying you want to go into Hollywood? Hollyweird as YouTube calls it. And TikTok at this time, everybody be calling it Hollyweird. If you still out here hearing all of this good stuff and you is trying to go up into Hollyweird, more power to you, baby. I don't want no parts of it. We is already YouTube, I have said it, and you still got to be careful, because YouTube is the new TV. Hollywood bringing itself right to the social medias. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X. That's the first time I called it that, y'all, because I'm Twitter all day. X gonna bring it to you. Okay, where we at? Where we at? Loving favor with God and man, especially with God. Can't nobody favor you better than God. Can't nobody give to you better than God. Can't nobody do for you better than God. Look, I know things that I have said to nobody. Nobody. I've been doing it all last week. All the week of my birthday, I kept coming on saying, God, the unspoken. You have blessed me with the unspoken. I ain't even opening my mouth. I did open my mouth that morning, and I ain't opened my mouth to a person. I ain't opened my mouth to a soul but thee, God. Oh, Lord, that steak breakfast I had a few years ago sure looked good. A steak dinner, a steak. I didn't even say a steak. I said steak would be good for my birthday. And by the end of the night, I had a 12-ounce ribeye. Say so. God did stuff like that all last week. All last week, I kept hollering. I ain't even say nothing, God. Loving kindness is better than life. Grace of God through Christ. Grace of Christ in all the fullness in which it dwells. And the grace of the Spirit of Christ. All of that represents love and favor. Spirit and grace cannot be purchased for money. They don't say you sell your spirit. They say you sell your soul. If you walking in your spirit, your soul up for grabs. Your soul is up for grabs. If you walking in your spirit, it's going to desire you to do better things, bigger things, and make you think. It's going to make you think. Now, we get to Ishmael. We get to Sarah and Ishmael. Because we remember we were talking about the PEATOEs. And I had said that's not the only way you F up a baby. That's not the only way you F up a baby. Like, that is a major way to F up a baby. Anytime you start going in there and you want to be using the baby to be your girlfriend or your boyfriend, that doesn't even sound right coming out. Doesn't sound right coming out. But another major way, baby, absent parenting. Absent parenting. So let's tell a story, because sometimes I like to make this thing just seem a little more something that you could put your hands on and feel. So I already said you knew Sarah didn't like Hagar after she made the decision to ask her to tell her husband to go in there and take her maid servant as a wife. Now, she got that maid from the first king that they fooled, because they went in and tried to fool too. Abraham was trying to get the peoples killed. But the second one knew God. But Abraham didn't think he did. I didn't think there was any God in this place. But God came to the second one and said, don't you touch her. The first one found out, not by God. The first one found out in a dream. The first one found out in a dream. He said, that's that man's wife. The second one, God said, don't you touch her. You're going to be dead if you touch her. You're going to be dead if you touch her. That is what Ringo TV and everything that I have found so far say about adultery. That it is a married woman. Like, I'm still researching, because the dictionary, even the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, they take it down to a woman. They take it down to a woman, as if that's the more. But I still go with the fact that God gave me a study that said that Lamech was the first person to ever have multiple wives. So with that being said, it said God never authorized it. So if he ain't authorized you to have multiple wives, he probably didn't authorize you to just be going out here and just doing any other thing that you want to do with women and you have a wife. So, but into who? So supposing you know that Sarah did not like Hagar, she got upset. I believe that Abraham was loving on Hagar a little bit more than Sarah cared for him to love on Hagar. That's my thought process. And so she got a little beside herself and started treating Hagar in such a cruel way that Hagar left. The angels of God had to tell Hagar, baby, I need you to go back. We not finished with you there. I know you ain't do nothing wrong. I know this heifer is out of her mind right now. She was out of her mind before she told him to come in there and take you as his wife, because I never told her to do that. That was something she wanted to do because she felt like she knew how I was going to work this plan. So the angels explain all that to Hagar. Hagar goes back. She got her baby. So now Sarah done laughed at God, said, yeah, how you going to make me pregnant? I'm old and he's older. God done said, I got this, but you going to stop lying. I don't know who you think you are. I don't know who you think you are. But you're going to stop doing what you do. So fast forward to the baby is here. Baby is circumcised. Baby is weaned. She sees something in Ishmael that she believes is mocking. Now, when I go into the study, one of them says that it could have been because he saw him as an heir. But it kind of explained it as if siblings do stuff like that. Siblings do stuff like that. And my thought process is, if Sarah did not like his mother, that's why I'm a heckler for the step-parent role. If Sarah didn't like his mother, she treated that baby that way. You treated that baby like you treated that mother. And it was worse because this wasn't like some other baby mama. The other baby mama out in the street, you gonna at least try to respect Her children at least. You might be throwing some shots in there or something like that. But you going to wonder if that baby going to tell his mama, but not when it's your slave, not when his mama your slave. You feel like you can do your slave any old kind of way. But this boy probably feel like you just treat him just like he is not your husband's son that you told your husband to go in there and make. And now he is the one you're doting all over and this, that, and the other. And so there may have been some tension. But then somewhere along the line, you say he mocking my baby. He not getting in on this inheritance. He will not be inheriting with my son. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. And so now you torn because you don't want to get, that's your son. You even go to God on it. God like, listen to him. This promise was already given that Ishmael would have a nation. But it wasn't the promise that God had. Because that promise was for Jacob, which would have been Ishmael's nephew. But God promised Hagar, your son will be a nation. He promised Abraham, your son will be a nation. But just imagine if he had to hear Sarah say, get out. Just imagine if you had to hear your father's stepmother telling your father, I don't want that child here no more. Because you probably not, in this day and time, you ain't got no slaves, so you're not going to have Hagar in your house. But just imagine that you heard your father's wife say that they didn't want you in the house no more. How would you feel? And not only that, he sent them a packing with a piece of bread and water. One bottle of it. Abraham was rich. He gave his baby mama, he sent his baby mama a packing with nothing. Now, all of you men that have everything to say about women, what do y'all have to say about that? Because Hagar did nothing. Hagar didn't even ask for it. What was she supposed to say? She was going to get probably dead, unalive, if she didn't do what was supposed to be done. So she wasn't out here wilding out. She didn't go out here and choose the wrong nigga, the wrong dude. She didn't do any of that. And she got sent to packing with a bottle of water and a piece of bread that ran out. And she just gave up and was like, okay, we finna die. And the angel of God came and stopped that. It said it was not necessary to acquit Sarah of any of the personal vindictiveness or consider her as acting from the best or highest motive. She won't. She wasn't. But God told Abraham to hearken anyway. And evil was overruled by good. Sarah had a, you see how I called, my peoples was asking me how the show went about, and I told them I first would bring a word. You don't hear people speaking about Sarah as evil. What you think it mean evil was overruled by good? That was an evil thing Sarah did. It's an evil thing. You drummed all of that up, and then you put them people out with water and bread and water. Bread and water. I think they get fed better than that in jail now. I think they used to get fed bread and water, but I don't think they do no more. Ridiculous. It said that the way, that the fact that he had to separate was harsh, and the way, like I said, bread and water. Sarah said, get out. That was even more harsh. I got to leave my dad. I've been around my dad. I'm the oldest son. I've been around my dad all these years. I don't know if it said how many years went. Oh, yeah, it did. It said Ishmael had to be around 14 years. You lived with your dad, and then you had to get out. How would you have taken that? That the man compelled to labor gains. Now, this is what it said that benefited Abraham, Ishmael, because it talked about how he had the character of his daddy and his mother. He was a great man. It said the fact that he was compelled to work, he gained energy, strength of character, and development of all that is within him. We be talking bad about Ishmael and his people, but that commentary said that's why you see his people in his likeness so much. Hard workers. They had to go out there and had the energy to get that stuff done. All right, that first Maccabees. At this point, all the people wanted to be chiefs. The king that was out there wilding out a little bit, he was on his deathbed, and so said he found all his best men, but they was the best evil men. So everybody nobody wants to be an Indian. Everybody wanted to be a chief. Everybody is up here trying to put on crowns and stuff like that. And then out of them, they got the worst one that came. And the people, even when you have the worst people in charge, there is always going to be those that envy that and that want that and that submit to the things that these people are doing. You see people chasing the bad. It's some folks that's gonna go straight into Hollywood. They don't care what people saying. Some of them gonna have a thought process that they ain't gonna be me. They gonna be sadly mistaken, because that shouldn't be the thought process you have. You should be going in it. If you're gonna go in it, you should be going into it with cautiousness, not with the thought process that ain't gonna be me. Because they wound up getting attacked because they wanted to follow the people that were supposed to be good in Israel, wanted to follow this band that was now coming. Said they build an exercise establishment. Y'all want to go and be building an exercise establishment like theirs. You want to be following the patterns of the heathen. So it said that y'all wound up very confused, because Antiochus came up in there. He conquered on them for 2 years. He conquered on them. He gave them a 2-year rest, and then came back in and pillaged and conquered again. Said that the marriage bed was changed. It said that they was hanging the babies. I don't know what I could have said instead of hanging. They were confused. That was a religious thing that was going on. A distortion of it, all the more. It was a religious thing. Study to show thyself approved. That's all I could say about that. All right, and the Quran. We're going to talk about this Quran, then I'm going to tell you about Katt Williams, and then I'm going to be out. My mercy embraces everything, which encompasses everything from the farthest reaches of the universe to the life of an ant. God's mercy embraces. What is it to embrace? It embraces everything. It takes it in. From the stars to these little daggone, they ain't fix my water, and it's making little flying bugs. God embraces them, but I don't. I just pour bleach down my sinks, but I have to go pour something down my tub because that's where the leak is. And it's not a leak, it's a run. It's a run. And I need for them to fix it because it's on my hot water. If it wasn't on my hot water, I would be okay with it because they pay the water bill. The only thing that I'm not okay with is that it wrecks my brain. It wrecks the hell out of my brain. Like, I can hear it now. Y'all probably can't, but I can hear it now. I try to keep the door closed, but I don't think the door is closed because I hear it very prevalently. But God embraces all of that. God embraces the animals. God embraces the stars. God embraces all the people, or else the earth wouldn't be the Lord's and the fullness thereof. The world and they that dwell within. That's the people. He reigns on the just and the unjust. All of that. I can go on and on and on and on. It says that look, it said the prophet, I put the prophet, I don't even know how to pronounce this, PBUH. It was in parentheses and it was talking about the qualities. But then it goes on. Like I'm telling y'all, I'm new at this Quran. When I was reading about Iblis, I had to read on down to find out Iblis was the Satan. So I had to read a little bit to find out that prophet Piba, I don't know what it's supposed to be. It's kind of like Yahweh when it just does the Y, the W, the Y, W, H, W, Y, H, W, however. It's kind of like that, PBUH. But it's Muhammad. It's Muhammad. It said that the qualities were gentle manners, kindness, forgiveness, generosity. In order to serve the greater purpose, educating humanity. The Quran is meant to educate humanity. The Prophet Muhammad made sure that he was kind and gentle in his manners. He was not this harsh person, always being the harshest on people. When anyone, and I put that in ANYONE, all caps, when anyone, leaders in particular, take a hard-hearted or arrogant approach to life, he or she is not fit to lead. When you're hardened, that's an issue within you. And if you have an issue within you that you don't want to look at, you are going to, what's the word I'm looking for? Deflect is not the word I'm looking for. Project. You are going to project that onto people. You are going to project that onto people, your hardness. You are going to lead that way. You're not fit for to lead a community, nor communicate the message of Islam. I would also go to say the message of Christ. If you're hardened in your heart, there's something wrong there. That's not a good thing. When you have calcification on you, that hardens your heart. It can kill you. Hard heart. Your heart will be soft. It don't make you soft because your heart's soft. It just will make you compassionate. Whereas punishment provides a sense of justice, forgiveness, and emotional relief that soothes relational burns, modern psychology takes a more balanced approach that falls in line with Quranic views. Do we talk about a name around here? Do we talk about persona around this piece? Do we talk about the ego? That's Carl Jung, baby. Psychology. Forgiveness with justice attempts to keep the problematic behavior from recurring in the future. Kindness and justice, noble and godly leadership of the prophets of the Quran. That was how they led, with kindness and justice. Now, I watched the it was called the behavioral arts. Go follow the go subscribe to the behavioral arts. The video is titled, Is He Lying? It was speaking about Katt Shay interview, Cedric and Steve. It said, for Cedric, because he was reading the body language and doing the words, Cedric specifically kept saying he never stole a space shuttle joke. And when you look at it in that aspect, he's telling the truth. He also said, he made the reference to having done a lot of shows and having had jokes stolen also. He said that you could have took that a lot of ways. Also meaning, I stole your joke, I've had jokes stolen also. Or, I've done a lot of shows and I've done a lot of shows, I've also had jokes stolen. If that makes sense. That makes it a little different. But he said that you can tell that that joke, he took what Katt did and changed it to a space shuttle. So now you can't say that you stole Katt Williams' joke because Katt Williams' joke was about a car. That's why he keeps saying I never stole a space shuttle joke. You didn't. You stole a car joke. You stole a car joke and turned it into a space shuttle joke. That's what you did, Sid. That's what you did. Steve said, I'm not going to address the haters. And then Steve stood up and approximately for 3 minutes, he addressed the hater. Now, let me tell you why he said he believed that Steve was warranted in calling Katt a hater. Because he said, it's okay that you not address the haters. He said, but it's not okay that you do not address a serious accusation. And this is someone who has been on the stage with Steve Harvey. This young man is a comedian. He said he has been on the stage with Steve Harvey. So he said he believes that he was warranted because Katt Williams went personal with Steve. He did. I know you can't be no actor. Who gonna want an old country bumpkin that can't talk, old McClaymon? That's what he said, y'all. That's what he said. So he was like, Steve was okay to come back with the comeback because in that instance, since Katt made it personal, he was being a hater. Now, he talked about the joke between Steve and Mark Curry. And believes that Steve was totally lying on that because he said Steve joke didn't even make no sense. He said, first and foremost, Mark Curry will let you know that that was a real thing that happened. When they dressed up in those boxes, they dressed up in the boxes. I think he said it was him and a couple of other of his cousins or brothers or something. And he ain't know. He was like, we just in boxes. His daddy was like, y'all are UPS. That makes sense. Because the UPS drivers could have came and picked y'all up. Y'all are UPS. Y'all are UPS packages. Now let's go get on over here to Steve. Said his daddy told him, go put on the box. And said, put on the box. He said, yeah, you're going to be the UPS man. Now the UPS man never has his box on. The UPS man's box is always in his hand, Steve. He don't have his box on. He not going to be the UPS man. You want the UPS man, sir. You was only UPS. If you're going to steal the joke and be dishonest, do it in the best way. Because that's what you claim, that you can make it more funny, but you didn't. You didn't. You made no sense. I didn't say that. The behavioral arts said that. Pencils. Okay, so Kevin, all that Kevin did was talked about things that, like Katt reading the book. I know he ain't reading no 3,000 books. Like, he never addressed what Katt Williams said about him. He just addressed whatever flaws were brought up, or excuse me, whatever flaws he thought he can poke fun at with Katt Williams. Because everybody said, even the behavioral arts was like, I know Katt Williams didn't read 3,000 books, but he did believe he probably read a lot. You can listen to Katt Williams' vocabulary and tell that he's very intelligent. You can tell that he does read. He says that the 3,000 books may have been like not even like a estimate, but just a way of saying, I done read a lot of books. I read. I be reading. I be reading. I'm just saying. Now, he said, we're going to go back to the book. He said things like that allowed you to know. And I've heard somebody on the, while all of this has been going on, something I watched somewhere was saying Katt is narcissistic. Corey Holcomb said Katt is the Joker. He talked about, he was like, why he ain't talking about himself? Did any of them come on Club Shay Shay and talk bad about themselves? When Club Shay Shay asked them about Katt Williams, did any of them talk bad about themselves? Well, then nobody should be asking this man why he ain't talk bad about himself. He didn't stand up there and try to make himself seem all innocent. He tried to make himself seem very, very smart, which made the behavioral arts say that he has an attitude, a grandiose appearance of himself. A grandiose opinion of himself. Illusions of grandeur. You think a little more of yourself. Remember, we talked about it with Willie? Than you should. However, and however sometimes comes across as a but it's not. Because I'm not saying he doesn't think a little more of himself. He's not out here trying to do misleading things. Like, he's a comedian first and foremost, so the 3,000 books could have been just a stretch. It could have been, I said, it's some places where he was adding, I believe he was adding in comedy. Because on YouTube, you supposed to try to make everything seem like it's light. They don't want you getting too serious, even if you're telling the truth. They want you to figure out how to do it nicely. But he said that Katt has a grandiose opinion of himself. And when we think more of ourselves than we should, that, my dear hearts, is no bueno. So we have discussed Willie, Ringo, Roda, where that thing started with them. We have discussed the Queen talking about Monique got her jank stolen, her joke stolen by them Wayans brothers on their movie, The White Chicks. We have talked about Demond Wilson speaking on feeling like Kevin Samuels was eliminated and for what reason. We spoke about Omar Johnson talking about the black women in the church building. And we covered the behavioral arts with this Katt Williams. Hello, beautiful. The lack of or over-regard to your reputation is no bueno. The lack of meaning you don't care about your reputation. Everything in life got you just out here just wilding out. And the over-regard being, you can't do no wrong. Everything is all good with the world. You are the best that you can and will be. Beautiful, to that I say, if either of those are your thought process, lose them. Why? Because Sylvie loves you. She wants you to be better, just like she wants her to be better. Every day, beautiful. And she is out. Thank y'all for watching.